This would be Tuesday, February 17th, as we continue with our Greek mythology and trying it with the lights on to see if that makes it, and it all looks bad. And then the spelling bee, if you've not signed up for it yet, you can sign up for it on the way down to lunch, on the way down to science, the little table that's off there by itself. And then we have a girls' basketball house event coming up on Thursday for both 7th and 8th grade, for both of them. I believe it starts at 6 p.m. It is going against Creekside. Just to make sure I will be there, so just find me at some point and wave to me, and then you should be good to go. And that is coming up on Thursday. Jake?
What happens if you're not good at spelling, but you want to do the spelling?
Then you just don't get very far. You're not going to win, but at least being in it and getting past the first round, I think gets you B points, and then being in it gets you house points,
I
stuff
don't
like
even
that.
think I can spell elementary.
No, that would definitely slow you down.
Okay.
All right. Then, to continue where we left off last week, Jack.
How many B points do you get?
Each round you get past gets you more points.
So
The deeper into it you go, the more points you get. So you have the potential for a whole bunch of points.
So is there like the same number of points for each round that you make it?
Yes.
How many would that be?
I don't know. I look into it.
Okay.
Earl!
I just came to say hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, I'm lovely.
So now you can travel over to the other building?
Yeah, so I have like an hour.
Oh,
So I'm gonna go eat lunch next door in a minute,
Yeah,
but
you
I
can-
wanted to come interrupt.
Come in and hang out, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys had Mr. Lehman today, or had him earlier. That was his sub. She was also my student of the year years ago, which is going to make both of us feel a little old. I think, no. I know I have things in my classroom from you. Would you like colored pencils to work on that? No, we're busy doing this right now. We got a lot, you'll have to just pay attention. Back to actual learning. Well, that was quite a distraction. Good thing I chose this class to record. Jovial! And with that one, what Greek god did we get jovial from when we did this last week?
Zeus.
Zeus, because what's Zeus's Roman name?
Zeus.
No, but a good guess. Jove! This is where the white sheet comes in handy with all the information and words on it that go into your brain. And so he has both the name Jove and Jupiter. And the Jupiter one is not one reason now, but the Jove, Zeus is the one that's, what's he in? I'll point to him in green over there. And then he's the one that's here above Bergman, that fellow right there. And then he's also the dude in purple right there. He was the king of all the gods. Leader of all the gods, top dog of all the gods. And then what is it that jovial means?
Happy.
Nicely done. Typically, I'm a fairly happy person, and, which is ironic, because how will Zeus usually be in our stories? Yes, he is not a very happy person and makes lots of poor choices and is fighting rugby throughout most of the stories. So that would be Zeus, jovial, and we got to cereal. And what god do we get cereal from?
Demeter.
Yes, Demeter, because what's her Roman name? Ceres, C-E-R-E-S. And Demeter, once again, the girl in brown over here who's throwing the gang sign. And then she is the one that's over. The one over here sitting on a throne of wheat. And then over here, the one trying to give Hades a wet willy. Demeter on that one. And she was not the same thing as Mother Nature, but she worked hands in hand with Mother Earth to make everything grow, and we'll get to the story about her. And then what would the definition of cereal be?
Wheat.
Close, but not quite.
Food from grain.
Nicely done. Once again.
It's like the words are right in front of us. We just
Bread.
Yeah, I know. I thought the same thing. Food that comes from the grain that is out there. So food from grain. Did we get to volcano yet?
Yeah.
And what god does volcano come from?
Hepatitis.
Nicely done. Once again, what sound does the PH make?
Hepatitis.
An F sound. So you can even spell Hephaestus with an F in the middle of it. Hephaestus, not hepatipa. It's Hephaestus. And he is the guy that's over there who has both the anvil, which you drop on roadrunners when they try to outrun coyotes, and then he's also the one that has the crutch in his arm there.
Big bulging muscles. The big bulging muscles.
The one that's back over here above Sue, got the fire in there, and he's crippled, but it's hard to see him in there. And the one next to me, he's not with a cane or a crutch, but he is sitting down, and then you have the little thing next to him. If you have trouble seeing it, to throw it up there, that's the anvil that you drop on road runners. That's not Hephaestus because he has 2 legs. Hephaestus has 2 legs, but one of them looks like an accordion, because he got thrown out of a window, but we'll get to that story too. And that's what the anvil is. For an anvil, the top part right there is what you use to smash stuff against, to shape it. And then this part over here is for the shaping of different things, like, I don't know, knee pads or helmets or something. And it gives like a different curvy thing to it when you go smack and smack. And Hephaestus was thought to work inside of a mountain. And so he would put his home inside a mountain, and he would do the work and the banging, and it would generate tons of heat on it. You could walk around the front, special child. I mean, when you have enough points like you, who needs to make good choices? And then sometimes it would build up lots of heat inside the mountain, and then the heat would have to get released throughout the top. And then what would you call that when the mountain hadn't released the heat through the top?
Lava.
Only it was right in front of us.
Mountain on fire.
Mountain fire.
Volcano, good job.
Oh,
Wow, turn on an iPad if you guys have issues. And so we have volcano, which is where the mountain of fire comes in. Okay, I think we got through all that learning. Now for new stuff.
Yay!
Hope it's slightly less
That was
painful.
a
Mercurial. Like it?
It's Hermes because his like other name is
Nice little one. Hermes, whose Roman name was Mercury. He's the one over here in the orange and yellow who looks like he's doing the Heisman Trophy pose, for those of you who like your college football. Instead of holding a football for his pose, though, he has a little letter in his hand, because what's his job for the gods?
A messenger.
Messenger.
They didn't have telephones back then, so if you wanted to talk to someone, you either had to do it face to face or write it down and have someone go running it out to them. So Zeus hires Hermes to come out and work for him. Hermes was sort of the original ADD kid. He naturally could not sit still and was constantly in motion and running around, and it was like, I just can't sugar. And so because of that, Zeus gave him a job, and it was like, let's burn off that energy. It didn't work because Hermes never ran out of energy. He was just like, just nonstop. He was an impressive guy. Also, he's in the one here above Binkles, where apparently he runs so fast his shirt fell off. The poor guy. There he has the winged shoes and the winged hat too. And then he's over here with the same winged shoes and winged hat. And we're going to talk about that stick here in just a moment. And a number of people end up praying to him. According to that, who is it that prays to Hermes?
Gods.
Good job. Once again, it's right in front of us. We just have to use the information. This is where we figure out how to find. Like it?
God of merchants, messengers, and thieves.
Nice one. Merchants, messengers, thieves. Messengers pray to him because you would have to use that to send a message from one person to another. Thieves would also pray to him because if you were a thief and the idea was you wanted to steal stuff, being fast was much better than being slow. Because the faster you could walk over and take something, the better chance you have of stealing. And they go, oh, you took it, it's gone, okay. But as opposed to, if you were not fast and you tried to steal stuff, it doesn't work nearly as well because typically they move it at or just sit there and stay. Much better, you learn how to do it. So as a thief, they would pray to Hermes so that you can quickly take things. Or if you do get caught, you can go, oh, poopy, and then run away really quick. So they would also pray to him. Then, merchant. Do you guys know what a merchant is?
Yes.
What's a merchant?
Someone that scams you? Or no.
It's so good.
That's government.
People to get confused. Someone that sells stuff like Walmart, but they didn't have Walmart type stores back then. Yes, he does. They didn't have Walmart. They had like the very beginning of the cartoon Aladdin, when Aladdin's running around the little area and then all those little shops and he's trying to buy stuff. That's how it was throughout all of this area. So if you wanted to sell stuff, or if you've been to a carnival, the barkers, those guys that yell at you, that try to get you to come over and play their game, they do the same thing, and they would sit there and yell at you. The faster you could yell at people, the more money you would make. Come buy my stuff. I've got brand new things right here. Look, it looks like an apple, tastes like an apple, looks like a pineapple. And the faster you could talk, like, I don't understand a word you're saying. Take my money. And then you would just throw it at them, and they would make it. So Mercurial has nothing to do with any of that. Mercurial has to do with science. Mercurial is how quickly a scientific reaction happens, or a chemical reaction happens. How fast or slow would you guess a reaction is if it is a mercurial reaction?
Super fast.
Pretty freaking fast.
Pretty freaking fast. Works for me. Have you guys ever made Jello?
Yeah.
Where you take the hot water and you put the gelatin into the Jello?
Yeah.
How quickly does it turn into Jello?
Really quickly.
Yeah, it takes forever. If you've ever done it, go home and you put it in there, and then it takes like 4 to 5 hours. If you put it in there and you just go, is it Jello? Nope, still water. Is it Jello? Nope, still water. 3 hours later, oh, kind of, almost Jello. Nope, still water. It takes forever. But if you were to take a Minto and drop it into a Diet Pepsi, you immediately have to clean your room. So that's the same idea. That's a mercurial reaction, a reaction that happens quickly. So mercurial means able to change quickly, especially with science. Jack?
Oh, thank goodness. Okay. With Hermes.
No, they're not right on his back, they're on his shoes.
What?
Go ahead.
Huh?
No, this child. He has his own issues.
So the wings that are on his shoes
Uh-huh.
is like, did they kind of get flash from him?
Really?
They did.
DC guy? Most definitely. He's
Oh.
based off that.
I called it.
Also, Flash, this TV show.
Yeah, I know.
In Hermes' hand, right there is a stick with 2 snakes wrapped around it and wings on it. You'll see it in every picture. Same one over here. You can sort of see the wings, little white spots that are right there. And then the same one over here. You can see the little white spots that are right there. It is called a caduceus staff. It is the other thing Hermes is known for. This is a caduceus staff. It's a stick with 2 wings on it and 2 snakes going around it. You have seen this already. You should be familiar with this because we still use this image today. You know where you see it? Nicely done. You usually see it on like the back of an ambulance, although sometimes it'll just be, they've simplified it now to just a stick with a snake around it as opposed to the 2 snakes and the 2 wings. I hope you get a chance to come back. So you in like a permanent sub now?
Yeah,
So, oh, but you're over at, you said Thorpe Creek.
yeah,
So there's like an off chance, but,
yeah.
alright.
If you ever need another band teacher.
Fingers
it's
crossed,
like
yeah.
a spectacular job, so.
Next time
probably
you come
be
back,
called
stop
back.
in again.
Yeah.
Alright, see you, Earl. So that's the little symbol, and what it was the idea of being able to, it's a nice pin you have, Joe, was being able to heal. He would use this to bring people back to life. The idea being is that if you die, and he would come by and sort of like, the Greeks believed that when you died, your soul popped up like in the cartoons, and you had like a little ghost standing above your body. Hermes' job was to run by and grab your ghost and take it down to the underworld. And you would sort of flap behind him like a little ribbon. But sometimes you would get stabbed and not be time to die. We'll talk about the fates in a moment, but it wouldn't be your time yet. So he'd come by and he'd have his little stick, and you'd have been stabbed to the stomach like, I'm dying, my soul is going to come out. And he'd come running by like, no, not your time yet. Bing! And he'd touch his little caduceus staff like, heal! And be good again. So that little caduceus staff would bring you back to life. So when these doctors started practicing, they're like, hey, if you come to us, we'll help you do this not dying thing that people think is really popular. So they started putting this symbol outside their house saying, if you come here, I'm as good as Hermes at making you not die. So that's where that symbol got connected to him. Travis?
Basically, they think if they see a dead body,
Yes.
they can shake it and bring it back to life.
No, you have to be Hermes now, his special staff, not just a random person. Just like saying, if I take my hands and go, clear, you're going to not die. No, you have to have a special device in your hands to make that happen. There's the same way. Yeah, his special stick, yes. Without the special stick, no. The doctors just use that symbol to say, we're as good as that stick.
But not very.
We have skills. Fatal! The opposite of having skills. And let's get to that one next. And where do we get fatal from? Yes. Person.
Face?
The fates. Nice. So done. And who are the fates? There are 3 of
I
them.
know they're siblings.
They are sisters. You're on the right track.
Fate string, measure string, cut string.
Nice. Well done. 3 sisters that control how long you're going to live by using this magic string thing. And, good job Carson, not pronouncing it the fatties. Every year I have a kid who goes, the fat teas? Because they try to make it sound Greek, and I'm like, no, not the fat teas. That's people who eat a lot of food. This would just be the fates.
I know that.
And there were 3 of them: Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos. With the 3 fates, Jack,
Thank you.
you're welcome. What's up?
Okay, so if Hermes
Uh-huh.
were to have the special staff,
Uh-huh.
and does that mean he could just go and literally like hurt people and then bring them back to life
If
and
you
be like
wanted to.
psych? But wouldn't he get in trouble for that?
Not really.
Gotcha.
Because the gods didn't care about people.
Oh.
But
Wow.
we'll get to that. Back to the fates and killing people. Sometimes I haven't decided yet. And so with this, you have the 3 fates: Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos. Clotho was the first sister. Her job was to create this magic string that was the life of every living being that was out there. And I don't know how she made it. And the string appeared. The second sister, Lachesis, had a magic measuring tape, but it wasn't like this one that has inches and feet and yards on it. Hers said stuff like seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, stuff like that. And so it measured time. The third sister, Atropos, had magic scissors, and she would cut the string, and that's how you would bring people to life. So, if we had the mighty warrior Carson, thanks for volunteering. Carson's going to be our mighty warrior who's going to come to life today. And so we have Carson, and he's about to be born. Unlike in the Hercules cartoon where they cut the string to kill people, in this one, the string is before you're born. So this is as Mama and Papa Carson know that baby Carson's like, oh, baby Carson's on the way. That's another class. And so we have baby Carson getting ready to be born. The 3 fates like, all right, incoming baby, time to get ready. So they'd make the string, and then the second sister, Lachesis, would start pulling out the string to measure how long Carson's going to live before he's even born. They would start bringing out this string. They could slap it down at 80 years. It could be, I don't know, 13 years, 5 days. It could be 2 seconds. It just depends on how long the string is going to be when they pull it out. And then the third sister gives it a cut. As soon as she cuts that string, it immediately disappears and fizzles away. Cut, fizzle. That fizzling is him coming to life. That sort of becomes his soul. So it's cut, fizzle, Carson's now alive, and however long he's going to live is already predetermined.
Oh, great.
I think so.
If it says that he's going to live to be 80 years old, then he's going to live a nice, long life. Now, it doesn't say how good that life is. If Carson makes a poor choice, he's like, I'm going to live to 80, you can shoot, and he falls down, he won't die, but he'll spend the next 67 years in a coma. Just being like, twitchy. But he won't die because he doesn't die until he's 80. So it doesn't say how good your life is. Now, at the same time, the fates don't decide how you die, just the moment you die. So if Carson says that he's going to die at 12 years, 9 months, 5 days, or however old he's like, oh, Mr. Brovicast, that's how old I am right now. Well, then what it does is they just decide that's what's going to happen. So if you were like running down the hall, like, hey, I'm going to, whoa, trip, pencil, right in the head. It's like, ah! And it's like some crazy accident. Or maybe he was walking home from school and all of a sudden a car hits him. Or you're like, I don't want to die. So you go and you shut yourself into like a big padded white room. And you're like, ain't nothing going to get me. It'd be like, and you just fall over from a heart attack. And so no matter what, at the moment you're supposed to die, you're going to die. There is no stopping it. They don't say how you're going to die, just that you die. When the ones that say like 2 seconds, because every once in a while they pull the string like, Carson's about to be put, it's snagged. Well, they put it down and then cut it. Well, that's when baby Carson comes out. And then that, like, oh, he didn't make it very well. And so that's how they explain those different parts. So you have fatal. So if you have an accident that is fatal, what happens to you in that accident?
You die.
You die. It means the fates have cut your string. Sure, if you want to think about it in a bullet report. Nicely done.
Oh.
So the fates controlled when you died, and it was preset from before you were born. The moment you're born, your length of life is already predetermined. Good job, Thomas. You've written all this stuff down as we're going through and doing it, just like it says right there. Which is bad timing because now I have to do this. Might be the next screen. Iris, the next one we have on there. But probably the kid next to you has it written down, so you can probably cheat off of him and be all right. What god do we get Iris from?
Is it
Lisa?
up here?
Iris.
Yes, Iris. What god do we get it from? Iris, yeah, that one. Which one do we get it from? Good job, Lisa. From the god Iris! It's the exact same thing. So we get Iris from the god Iris. And come on! Who is the god Iris?
God of rainbow
The god of rainbows and messengers.
Mr. Brovicast, we already have a messenger god.
You're right. Who's our other messenger god?
Hermes.
Hermes. Nicely done. The problem is, who does Hermes work for?
The guy.
Zeus.
Zeus.
Iris works specifically for Hera and Hera alone, because it turns out that sometimes Hera needed to have her own messenger. And this goes back to the idea that Zeus and Hera didn't always get along and sometimes made some poor choices. So what we have happening is oftentimes Zeus wanted to be friendly. And so he would come down to earth to be friendly, but for some reason his wife didn't approve of his friendliness. So he would have to be creative and hide his friendly time whenever he came down. He finds a number of ways to do it, but his most common way of doing it when he came down was because he lives on Mount Olympus, which is high on a mountain, and the people he wanted to be friendly with were down on the ground. Between the two of them were usually the sky and clouds. So he would hide his friendly time by having a cloud come in. And he'd usually bring in like a dark storm cloud, because you can't see through dark storm clouds. And thus, he'd be down there with having his friendliness happening, and Hera couldn't see him because of the dark storm cloud, and he could get away with his friendliness. The problem comes in when Hera's not an idiot, because oftentimes Zeus would go out and find friendly time when it was nice out. And it would be a sunny day, and he'd go out and find the girl to be friendly with. He was like, "How you doing?" And he'd go over there, and he's like, "Oh, it's a sunny day." "Not anymore." And then in would come this big storm cloud. Hera would walk out, she's like, "It's so nice and sunny. Why is it storming in that one spot that Zeus?" And she realized what was going on. So she would send her messenger down to come spy on him to find out what was happening. As soon as she sent her messenger down, though, humans would know. Because how would we know when her messenger came down?
It rained.
The rainbow would come down. Now, there's a reason for that. We don't always see rainbows after it rains, only on certain types of days. What are the types of days you see rainbows?
On rainy days.
When it's a nice day out. Whenever it's usually warm and sunny out and all of a sudden rain comes in, those are the days you see rainbows. Why? Because that's when Zeus was doing his friendly time. So anytime you saw the rainbow is because you saw this dark cloud appear out of nowhere, and you can connect it back to Zeus being friendly. So the next time you're driving with your parents and you see the rainbow, they're like, "Oh, Zeus is being friendly." You're like, "What?" And you're like, never mind, awkward. And so that would be the learning that comes down. So that was the connection between the two. Yeah, I'm just ignoring you for now. And so with iris, we have two definitions of what an iris is. What's the first definition you all know?
Messenger of Hera.
Not the definition of iris. That's who it is, but a good try. Eyeball, nicely done. The other one? Fluffy?
I have a question.
Me too. Lisa?
Isn't it a type of flower?
It is a type of flower. Nicely done. It is both the colored part of your eyeball and it's a type of flower. Now with the iris, there we go. It is this type of flower that you see there, which comes in a whole bunch of different colors. Now, given a bunch of flowers come in a bunch of different colors, I have no idea why this one got called the iris after the rainbow god, but it did. So this was the rainbow god one, and then you have the colored part of your eyeball. Most people know this is the iris. What's the part in the middle called?
Pupil.
Good job. Does anyone know the white part? It's not called the eyeball. That's the whole thing. It's called
The white part.
oh my goodness, I just forgot it. I've been telling people all day. It starts with an S. And
The cyclone.
the cyclone. No.
Cyclops.
Spectacle.
No.
Spectacle.
Wow.
Spectacle?
No.
Cyclops.
Great.
That's
Sclera.
C.
S-C-L-E-R-A. Sclera. Whew. Hard day for me already too. So you have sclera, the iris, and then you have the pupil in the middle. So this was thought to be the part of your eye that Iris the rainbow god touched, because everyone has different colored eyes, there's such a variety of them. It was thought that it was connected to the rainbow god. And so she came down and sort of gave you a little bing So everyone got those different colors that connected to it. So that's the iris that gets connected to it from there. Fluffy.
Didn't you call Zeus sleigh god?
Sure.
Ah, Zeus is
Yeah,
like a.
Hey.
Iris? Not up there. She's not one of the major gods.
She's
Sometimes
not?
you'll see pictures with Hera with rainbows behind her, but that'd be about as close as you're going to get. They don't usually show her. Travis?
Since Zeus would be friendly
Uh-huh.
and Hera wouldn't like that,
She did not.
did that mean Zeus would have to sleep on the Mount Olympus couch a lot?
Oftentimes they would just yell at each other. I'm not sure they had a Mount Olympus couch, but metaphorically, yes, if that makes you feel better off that one. We don't have any more checkpoints, just the project can
It's
do
for
next
free,
week.
too.
It's the joy of it. Yeah, that's for checkpoints for kids who want to know how far you should be so that you're not falling behind.
So why
Yeah,
did
good job.
I
Tomorrow, we're going to be picking up and finishing out our last 4 stories, and hopefully, we'll be moving ahead a wee bit and getting a start on our first creation stories. We'll be talking about how to kill your children. Which is always a fun story to get into. But we'll stop for there for now.